Good morning, everyone. It's 10:30 a.m. It's my second box. Second box this morning. This one looks beautiful. So I erased previous video. I did. So let's look at this one. Beautiful. I need to do a little ranging here so I got room to work. I hope I don't block you off from seeing. This looks so nice. See, if I tilt the frame a little towards me, it comes off and just goes down. If you've got it straight up and down, it rolls up in a little ball, kind of like a scroll. See? There, it got some weight and then pulled itself straight. Nice. Oh crap, my little knot fell off when I moved it. I've got a knot here on the end of the board to keep the weight of the cord from pulling the knife off, because it keeps trying to do that. I'll just give it a little scratch right there and right there, because I think it missed it. This I'll just kind of give it a, because there's some melted wax right on top. But this will spin out nicely. I checked with other beekeepers, and yes, the linden trees are blooming. It's basswood honey flow. And I'll be working on pulling honey like this for a while. When them trees get blooming, they make lots of nectar. And you know, it's dry, but we're still getting a honey flow, which is nice, from the trees. The trees flower and make nectar. A basswood tree will be like just buzzing with bees right now, if it's blooming. And they say they are. I'm not sure for how long, probably a week or two. And then it's over. But let's get that honey while we can. Especially when it's this quality. I've tested. It's water white and 15% moisture content. Beautiful, beautiful honey. Doesn't always come out this way. This year's just different or something. It's been so dry. It's hard to believe there's anything. And white clover hasn't quite died yet, and maybe making some nectar. I have seen bees on clover, but it was in my yard where I've been watering it. If you go west of here just a little bit, the drought isn't quite as bad. I noticed. I have a beekeeper friend that lives about 15 miles west. It seemed a lot greener where he is. But he's living by a river. And his yard's pretty wild. I love it. It's big. It's a huge area and wild, which is nice. He's got a little pass mode. And there's bees out there. There's berries and stuff growing all around, and it's just beautiful. It's not a river, but a creek or something. Not far from where he lives, the creek is. Oh yeah. Nice. Keep wanting to scratch my nose. It's itching. But that's just kind of gross when you're doing. I'm gonna use my rag on it and stuff here to wash my hands. My nose just started itching. Still itching. Got a dry rag here. That one's kind of damp for when the honey spills or something. Okay, we're back in business. For some reason this one way out in the middle didn't get filled. That's weird. Maybe I could just get that off with a knife. Just that little area. And do this side. Lost my grip. This didn't get built out very thick, so I have to use the scratcher. Kind of scratch the caps up and off. I've tried just raking it. That's a bad idea. You end up with all these cappings in the strainer, and then the strainer clogs up. If you do it this way, you could do maybe 3 or 4 boxes before you have to clean the strainer. I have 2 strainers and I can change them and keep going. Oops, I missed a couple cappings. Just a little tiny patch right here. That's halfway, 5. That's fun to watch, and it's like the finish line, scoring a touchdown, so to speak. Spike the ball kind of thing. Other years the honey's a lot more drippy. And this year is so thick it doesn't hardly drip. And this is with it being warm. I've kept this in a warm room overnight that was close to 100 degrees probably. Had one of the milk house heaters going all night long with a fan blowing or pulling air rather up through a stack of boxes to get the honey warm to where it'll extract easier. That's different, for sure. But a warming room is something a honey house would have. if you built one by design. You'd have a room with a heater that you could crank it up to 100 degrees and get your honey nice and warm and then extract it. That way it all comes out pretty much, because it gets thinner and less sticky. Well, man isn't watching what she's doing, walking through my yard. Oh boy. There's a male lady. She knows my bees are there. I guess she's not scared. Because usually she walks around. My bees have simmered down over the past couple of weeks. I had a few hives that didn't have queens. I mean, they had queens, but they weren't mated yet. So they get a little touchy, let's say. And I think the neighbors noticed. You have a swarm of bees, and they're like, everybody's curious. And of course, they just want to know what you did wrong to cause this. And it's just like a loaded question right there. I don't even want to talk to people about it, because that's the kind of things they ask. And then they tell you how they're deadly allergic to bees. And things go sideways after that. I start asking, well, where's your EpiPen? You better have it right ready. Because the beehive is like right over there, see? If people are over standing by a beehive and they tell me they're deathly allergic to honeybees, I don't know if I believe them. Especially if they fail to produce the EpiPen. And I will ask. I'd like to see one. I've never seen one. I'm a beekeeper. And you can't just go to the doctor and say, I'm a beekeeper, give me a prescription for an EpiPen. It just don't work that way. You have to nearly die once, or take an allergy test, and they discover that you're allergic to, and then they'll sell you the one. But that's actually a drug, and there are laws about drugs where you can't just substitute on prescriptions. In other words, if I had an EpiPen and somebody's over there choking to death, I'm just supposed to whip it out and administer the stuff? Nah. You call the fire department. They've got them. You call 911, tell them it's an emergency. They'll rush over there with an EpiPen. I doubt it's free, but... Oh, and they're trained to do it. And then an ambulance comes with it, see? That's why you do it. You don't just pull out an EpiPen and give it to someone on the street that says they got stung by a bee. Maybe they got bit by an ant. Maybe they got bit by a spider. Maybe a wasp got them. It could have been one of your honeybees, but I don't think I'd admit it. I'd want to see proof. You know, that might be tough to prove ownership on a bee sting. It has came up with people trying to bullshit me about how they're going to die from my bees. Yeah, okay. And I'm talking about my next door neighbors. They have told some whoppers trying to get their way. Lately, they're complaining about bee poop on their new car. And I'm like, well, why are you parking it right there? Yeah, I think they want me to wash their car or something. And I'm like, get it detailed for them? I don't think so. My truck gets bee poop on it. You just wash it off with a car wash. It just comes off, you know, pretty much. Let's spin it. The finish line here. I stuck it on speed 5 just to start. Give myself a little room to move here. Oh yeah, it's pretty well balanced this time. That box was pretty much completely full of honey, is why. I'm going right straight to speed 8. It's starting to wobble a little. I wonder if I forgot a frame or something. I can put my foot on it and push on it into the corner and it won't wobble as much. What you do is let it run for a couple of minutes and see if the wobble gets worse or better. Here comes the honey. Let's give it a speed 9 and see what happens. Where the honey's really coming out. I can see it now. Let's try 10. The faster I get it up to 10, the longer, the better it empties the super. It's struggling to speed up. That's 10. So it's not wobbling too bad. Let's see. So I'll lean on it and kind of hold it there. The honey's really coming out. And it's water wide just like the last bucket. And thick, 15% probably. It's beautiful. Just get that honey. I love this extractor, how I can do a whole box at a time. All 10 frames. I could do 2 boxes if I wanted, but then the bucket would be full, and I don't want the bucket to be full. Half full works better for me. I mean, I'm not exactly a big guy. Plus the bucket can break. And they have. This thing's spinning nicely. On speed 10. Most of the honey has came out, but it's still getting little tiny little droplets. But the big majority of it is already coming out. It's hitting it's dripping down the sides of the tank and get on the bottom. The bottom is like an inverted cone. So there's like a ring of honey. And eventually it'll stop, and then I'll tilt the whole extractor, and then the bucket will be half full. A box like this full of honey is 2.5 gallons, which is just perfect. Keep each box separately, and then you can, when you get to where you're pouring it into the bottling tank, you can have each bucket labeled with what's in it and when you harvested. So you kind of got an idea that, you can put all the same type together. And this light honey like this sells easily. People love it. Let's get a closer look. Like I said, what I'll do is let this spin. It spins for 15 minutes. Honey will come out like that. Eventually it'll slow down. The machine stops, and then I'll pull the frames and then tilt the pallet and everything, and let all the honey drain out before I start another bucket, before I start another box. It takes a little longer, but it's like I get great separation that way. And I can, if I need to blend honey, it's easy. I just use all the same type. You don't really want to be, there's temptation to just have a 55-gallon drum and put it all in one big drum, or 2 or 3 or whatever the case may be. This is a craft honey thing I kind of take pride in, and have very loyal customers. Buy honey by the gallons at a time. They look forward to this just as much as I do. I have women that buy 5 gallons of honey at a time. Times are getting a little tough, and that's slowing down a little. But on the bulk prices, I haven't raised it much, because we really want to encourage people to buy it in bulk. It's a lot easier on our end to put it in half-gallon jars or quarts. Glass is good, and labeling is easy, and it doesn't take as many labels. For instance, if I just sold nothing but 12-ounce bears, the squeeze bottle things, they're 12 ounces, but that's just a cup of honey. Honey's heavy, more dense than water. 16 bears is a gallon. So that's 16 labels, 16 lids, 16 of everything. And, it'd be a lot easier for us to just fill up 2 half-gallon jars and say, here, 2 labels, or maybe just 1. I don't label honey like they do at the store. I just put my name, phone number, and where it's from, what town. I'm not going to put the nutritional information and all that, because I'm basically selling honey face to face. They can ask me if they need to know, but it's something you can also look up. The labels on honey, I can buy labels and have it where it's labeled with the nutritional information. However, that they didn't test my honey to get them information, so it's kind of not necessarily true. You can assume it is, and if that, you can make that assumption, then just look it up online. See, a teaspoon of honey is, 60 calories or something like that. I don't know for sure, but it's something you can look up. And really, the ingredients and all that on honey vary. It's possible that nectar from a poison ivy plant could end up in your honey, or from purple nightshade. They have flowers, and guess what? Bees love poison ivy. There was a discussion I saw recently. Another beekeeper caught his own bees working a tree that was covered in poison ivy blooms, and the tree was buzzing. They thought they had a swarm of bees and went to investigate, and nope, it was just bees working that poison ivy. And they decided that it's okay because it's diluted so much that it's unlikely that you're going to get a reaction from it. I do not know. I know there used to be a poison ivy vine in one of my trees, but I noticed it and cut it down way back and got rid of the poison ivy. That doesn't mean that the neighbors don't have it, or down the street or whatever. There are things beyond our control here. And the source of the nectar is wherever the bees decide. This tastes an awful lot like basswood honey, maybe with a little bit of clover in it, white clover. Around here, every yard has white clover in it. These get to be long, boring videos just because of watching the thing spin. You can see it's really thick honey, just kind of dribbling out of there. Let's do a test. What the heck? That way I can taste it. What you do is you get this tool. It's called a refractometer or a refractometer. You get just a little bit of honey on you. Wow, that's thick. I can tell. Tastes a little minty. It's 11 in the morning, I guess. I've been doing this since early. Oh wow, this is 14.5%. Extra thick. The last box was 15. Man, oh man, thick honey like that is, makes you want some pancakes. Or maybe put it on ice cream is a better idea. I'd put it on ice cream. Now, I lick off the honey refractometer. It never really touches your honey. And I'll wipe it off with the rag, a damp rag. They say you don't want to get it underwater. It's kind of, an instrument, let's say. How it's got a blue piece of glass that's cut at an angle or made at an angle, I don't know, but you look through it and somehow by the refraction it shows on a scale and you just read off the number. Pretty easy. 14.5% moisture content. Woo! That's some good stuff, man. I'm proud of this. I have other honey I've harvested I wasn't like super proud of, but it's always good. Some years it's thin and you're like going, dang. They capped it and everything, and it comes out 19% moisture. Well, that kind of honey extracts easy. The thick, gooey stuff is different. And it's what you want, is the thick, gooey stuff. To get it come out better, I'll leave it in a room that's hot overnight. I'm going to do the same with more honey tonight that I'm going to pull off a different hive and then kind of continue around to different hives. Putting my bee escape on, and I come the next day and get the honey. Today I'll go pull honey off a certain hive I set up yesterday, and at the same time I'll try and find another hive to set up for tomorrow or the next day or whatever. The way a bee escape works is you come along maybe in the afternoon or evening and you separate the honey boxes that you want to take and place them above the bee escape. The bees go back and forth to get honey. They go down to the bee escape and get lost and then can't come back. So you come back the next day and there's not many bees in the honey supers that you want. So you could just pull them boxes and go home and you deal with it. There'll be like maybe 20 or 30 bees in each one or something like that. It's not bad. What we've been doing is all pull frames one by one, tap the bees off by just tapping it on the box, and then hand them over to my wife, and she'll stick it into a whole different empty box. And we continue and then move it frame by frame like that, knocking the bees off to where we get home and there might be 1 or 2 bees, and that's it. She keeps saying how come we haven't been doing this for years. If you're new to pulling honey, don't hesitate to try bee escapes. We tried fume boards. We tried the first year I harvested honey. We used a blower, like a leaf blower, to blow the bees out. That works, but yeah, it's kind of chaos in the bee yard for a while. With this bee escapes, you don't disturb the bees hardly at all. That's what my wife was saying. It's just, wow, there's not like all these angry, pissed off bees flying around trying to get the honey. And it's just way easier. Plus, we're like in the middle of a flow, kind of. The trees are blooming, so the bees aren't trying to rob honey. You can leave open honey out right now, and the bees will ignore it because they got better stuff to get. Hard to believe, but yeah. The linden trees are blooming, and they're collecting nectar from them trees and making it into honey, and it's oh so good. They're blocking the light. See how clear it is down in the bottom, where it's welling up in the screen? That's water white color. It's so clear, like water. I wish every year had honey like this. Going through a drought to get it sucks. And it stops. Okay, let's stop the video. Right now, I'll tilt the thing, and a whole nother gallon of honey will probably run out. And get that bucket half full. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you. Thanks for watching. This is the Urban Beekeeper, Champaign, Illinois, signing off. Bye-bye.